In today's video, I'm going to show you some settings that you should change before playing Valorant on console. Now, Valorant on console is slightly different to playing it on your PC. Some of the sort of elements of it are a bit different, and I'm going to teach you all the things you should go ahead and do so you can get the best gameplay and you can perform best in the game. So first of all, to actually go ahead and change the settings, you want to press the start button here, and you want to go over to where it says settings here. Now, the very first thing I would recommend doing is turning this setting off. So it says rotate map with player. I'd recommend turning this off. You want the map to stay sort of the way it is. You don't want it to sort of move around like that. Now, you've also got this keep player centered. I would also recommend having this off. I just find that that helps for me. Now, for the minimap size, I would recommend having this as big as you can do it. And I would leave these two as it is. You can do the vision cones. I'd recommend having this on. It basically means you can see what angles your teammates are looking at and you're looking at essentially. Now down here we can go to content filter. This is kind of up to you if you want to show mature content or not. Stuff like bodies and that. It's up to you. And then privacy, you've got stuff like hide my name. This again is just like up to your preference. Now down here on other, you have your accessibility settings. For me, I find it easiest if I put the enemy highlight color on yellow. It's by default red, but if you change it to like yellow, the outline of them is going to be different. So you can have it on red, purple, yellow, or a different yellow. I have it on the third option, this yellow here, and I find it is the best for me. Next up, we have the show bullet tracers. This basically shows where the bullet's going. I'd recommend having this on. It helps you to aim a little bit. And then you've also got new player tips. If you know about Valorant, you can just turn this off. But as it's console, things have changed a little bit, so you might want to keep this on. Now you have first person handedness. This is basically what hand you want your gun in. Now, a lot of people in Valorant like to have their gun on the left side, but some people like to have it on the right side. It makes zero difference to the actual shooting itself. It's just down to preference, and generally it depends on which eye is dominant. So if you have a dominant right eye, you want the gun to be on the left side. If you have a dominant left eye, you want the gun on the right side. It comes down to which portion of the screen the gun is blocking, and it's really up to you. It won't make a ton of difference, but you can just change that to your liking. Now for controls, again, this is down to your liking. I actually have a video on the channel about the controls. You can go through here and try all these different presets. I would just recommend sticking onto the Valorant one. You can go ahead to aim and you can change any buttons that you don't like, but me personally, I would just have it on default. And then down here for aim, what I'd recommend doing is find your base sensitivity, and the way you can do that is inside of the practice arena. So come into the practice arena here and just test with these bots here. I'd recommend putting them onto shooting test, put it onto medium, and make sure the bots have armor. This will basically just make it more realistic to a game. And essentially just see how you perform on this test, and if you're finding it's too sensitive, you can decrease it, and if it's not, then you can increase it. Now what I'd recommend doing after that is for your focus sensitivity, I would put this one down from your base sensitivity. The reason for this is just so that when you focus in, you can be a little bit more accurate, and it will slow down a little bit. So that's something I'd recommend doing. Again, all of these settings now here are down to you. You've got prioritize focus or prioritize ADS. I think that prioritize focus is better. Aim down sight is not going to be that useful, so focus is much better. And then you've got, do you want to hold it or do you want to tap it? I'd recommend holding it. This basically means when you press the trigger, is it going to, do you have to tap it or do you have to hold it? Same with sniping, I'll put it on hold. And you've got invert aim, I wouldn't recommend doing that. And then you've got these different bits here about your dead zone. You can just leave these default. And then down here you have your base aim curve. So this is basically how the movement is affected. So you've got these different things like standard, linear, light, medium, heavy, extreme, aggressive, delayed, smooth, and standard. So these basically are how the acceleration happens when you move the stick. So when you're looking left, does it accelerate fast, does it accelerate slow, that kind of thing. Just test through these. For me, I like standard, but you might prefer a different settings. Just test through them. You've also got the curve on these as well, just so you can have a look at if you want to. Then in advanced, I'd recommend leaving these all default. It's up to you, personal preference really for these, but I think default is the best. Now for your crosshair settings, you want to go ahead and change this. So you can go ahead and use advanced options if you want to, like this, and you can go ahead and go to the crosshair colors now. You can change the crosshair color. I like mine yellow personally. You can have outlines if you want to, which adds a little bit of contrast in settings. You can have a dot in the center if you want to. I prefer not to have that. You can also change stuff like the outline opacity. You can change the thickness of the lines. This is all kind of down to personal preference. And for me personally, I like this small yellow one. I find it easy to use. This is the same one I use on PC. So you can go through here and change like your crosshair color, all of that, and just change it to what you like. It's really down to you and your personal preference. Next up here we have the stats. I'd recommend putting some of these on just so you can see if you're lagging. So you've got like packet loss, you've got you've got shooting error, you've got all these different settings. You can have these on. These are just going to be statistics which will help you improve your game and just see why things might not be going to plan. You've also got your sound settings here. Again, this is all personal preference. Now those are the settings I recommend having for Valorant, but you kind of got to play the game a bit and just see how you like it and how it changes for you. But if you enjoyed the video and found it useful, be sure to like and subscribe, comment down below that it helped, and let me know if there's any other videos you'd like me to make about Valorant or any other game in particular. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.